I'm Dr. Jen, and I want to invite you on my personal New Year's journey where I'm going to be implementing a couple different health tactics in order to become the healthiest version of myself. So what I'm going to do, and I know all of us have New Year's resolutions that fall off and we probably try to do a little bit too much, but I tried to simplify it this year. This year, I am focusing on dietary health, physical health, and making sure that my foundations are in order. And the way that I'm doing that is through Sakara, which is my meal delivery service, making sure all of my supplements are in order, and making sure that I'm checking what supplements that I need and where the basis of my health is actually at. So the way that I'm testing that is I am doing a all-cat food sensitivity test and a epigenetics biomics test. The all-cat test for food sensitivities will really just check to see if I am consuming something that is a little bit too aggressive on my system and is giving me some of the flare-ups that I have experienced in the past and wasn't really quite sure where they were coming from, because they can very frequently be food centered. I apologize, my puppy is crying in the background. The biomics test is a genetic stool test, and it's really interesting because our gut biota and our gut bacteria really makes up most of us, and it guides what nutrients our bodies can make endogenously or within us and what we need to supplement with as well. Not listed here, but I will link it below, but I am also doing an all-cat micronutrient test. And what's really interesting about that, it's a blood test, and it will show you what's within your red blood cells and within your white blood cells and your plasma, the nutrients that you are a little bit deficient on. Commonly in the past, things for me have been magnesium, vitamin B12, as at the time I was a vegan, and a couple other nutrients like vitamin K, which is very closely related to vitamin D, and biotin. And when you kind of trace those micronutrient imbalances out, they actually were correlated directly to the diseases and I guess diseases that I was experiencing. Those being like some skin and acne issues and low energy and fatigue, things like that, poor sleep. So after I get all of those questions about my health answered, what I'm going to do is, first off, even before supplementation, I'm going to use food as medicine. Because in naturopathic medicine, water, sleep, and food are really like what you need to survive. So that's what we use. I'm a busy woman. I really don't have time to make a whole week's worth of meals, although I love doing it. And I do use, my recipe books and my kitchen very frequently, just for funsies, right? That's more recreational, but in order to nourish myself, it needs to be a little bit more frequently than what I'm able to do in my free time. So I use a company called Sakara, and this is just an example of one of their meals. It's a nice, huge bowl of salad underneath. This is a typical lunch. And then it has a bunch of vegetables and grains on top, and it comes with a very nourishing dressing. And they focus a lot on those micronutrients and making sure that you're getting a lot of those, and not so much as the macronutrients like you would see in like a bodybuilding program. If I feel like I'm lacking in a macronutrient, then I will just add some tofu on here or something. Something to note that I do also do is I do focus my diet a little bit more plant-based. So I would choose tofu or seitan or tempeh or beans, rice, things like that, quinoa, over something like a steak at this point, or a chicken. So that seems to help in that detox process a lot. Next, I swap out alcohol. That's probably a pretty obvious one if you're trying to clean up your lifestyle, because it is, kind of a poison. Although red wine is touted to have some resveratrol, which is really antioxidant, but you can get that in a supplement, and you don't have to get it in wine. It's just not as enjoyable. But I use this tea also by Sakara, which comes as part of their meal plan. And I'm not trying to sell you Sakara, but this is just what I use. This detox tea is really, really yummy. It's actually like a rose tea that has some dandelion and different detoxing herbs in it. And so I will switch out for some teas. I'll do some mushroom coffees. Matcha is great, golden milk. There's a slew of things you can do, kombucha. And I just kind of use that entire spectrum of different drinks to supplement what I normally would do. And I'll link it below, but there's a company called Apothecary that makes really good, it's almost like a Kool-Aid powder that tastes like wine, but it's actually full of adaptogens, and it helps settle you down before the end of the night. So sometimes if I'm kind of like itching for that nightcap, I'll do a little bit of that Apothecary, and I'll get more into the supplements, but then I will also mix a little bit of magnesium bisglycinate in there and a little bit of tart cherry juice, and it's actually pretty yummy. So I wouldn't say it's Cabernet, but it's definitely a good alternative, right? And to go a little bit more into the supplements that I take, and we'll highlight those below, I get them from a company, my dispensary, called Fullscript. And Fullscript does third-party testing. It does a lot of high-quality nutraceuticals. And I just don't mess around. If I'm really serious about my health, I'm not gonna go pick up something at Costco or CVS, even though they may be a little bit more affordable, because what I've actually seen in my own practice on the chiropractic side is in x-rays, you'll actually find people's supplements. That means they have not been absorbed. They are sitting in the intestines and they are gonna go out through the stool. And so I'm just really, you may save a little bit more on the forefront, but then you're like wasting your money in the end. And I really want, if I'm gonna pour money and invest in myself, I really want that investment, like the return on the investment. So I will choose high quality nutraceuticals from Fullscript. And that is actually the dispensary in which that I prescribe and distribute supplements to my patients. Now the ones that I take every day, it's gonna be a vitamin B complex. It's going, especially when I'm doing plant-based, to make sure that I'm getting enough vitamin B12. I take a vitamin D with K2. I take a greens powder. I take a fish oil and a vitamin C complex that has a little bit of immune boosting herbs like Sambucus and zinc and selenium, which I'll highlight a little bit later when I talk about the immune system. And I also take some longevity supplements. So those are gonna be NAD plus and glutathione. And those are a little bit fringe for most people. So I think that deserves its own segment that I'll go into a little bit more detail on the anti-aging, longevity, cellular, mitochondrial support supplements. But those are really all I'm doing as far as testing and ingestion to fill in the gaps that the tests have revealed to me. That's the plan. I haven't got the test results back. However, if you're interested in any of this, please contact me, please comment. There's always ways for you to get this. These tests are available through naturopathic physicians, so if not me, seek somebody else out. We'll be able to do an assessment to see the exact test that you would need, either for wellness or for illness, and distribute those. Sakara will also link that down below. It's absolutely amazing. I've done it for a whole year. This is going on year number 2 now. It saves me a lot of time, and I really do feel the benefits from eating an organic plant-based diet on them. And lastly, I try to invest in a little lifestyle habits. So one of those is getting 8 hours of sleep every night. I keep saying the word invest, but this one I really did like monetarily invest in, and I wouldn't suggest it for anybody, but I really do have problems sleeping. It's called an A-Sleep, and it's a mattress cover that helps regulate your temperature, and it kind of gives you biometric feedback about the status of your sleep throughout the night. I bought one of those, and it has been absolutely game-changing in my sleep. I'm actually getting like more than 5 hours, even before this year started. Getting more like the 8 or 9 that I actually need, and it gives me, scores, and it tells me where I was, waking up, and I remember, I want to get water. It means I have to hydrate a little bit more before I go to bed. I'm also investing in some therapy, so making sure that my emotional state is intact. I do have a new puppy, which, like I said, you heard in the background, and she's been very much therapeutic half the time. Sometimes she's a headache, but most of the time she's therapeutic and adorable. And that was another, investment in my self-care. And I am focusing on specific workouts to help with cellular detox, help with muscle building, and help with a little bit of cardiovascular support. And so those would be using HotWorks, which is a local infrared sauna company that you go work out in a sauna. And that detoxes you from the inside out and helps you, you will sweat because you're in a sauna, but it also is helping you detox a little bit through those infrared waves. And I will absolutely do another segment with HotWorks owner, and so she'll describe a little bit more about that later in that video. And then I also do cardiovascular work sometimes throughout the week. I'll do about 2 days. And then I do like a strengthening Pilates class the other days to make sure that I'm activating my muscles, getting to second stage muscle failure, so that I can grow stronger and leaner and support my skeletal system, which is important, as I age, because I am. So that's about it. Honestly, all of these things, it sounds like a lot. It really does. However, the meal service actually chops off a ton of time for me. The supplements and the teas and everything that I'm doing and the testing, all of that actually is a quick answer and a quick resolution. So you get the testing, you get the questions you have answered about your health through the testing, and then the supplements are really, big kick, punch, whatever you want to call it. It's a really powerful intervention that can just zoom in and make those corrections that you found were lacking in the testing. And then obviously the working out, it helps mentally, it helps physically, which as a holistic practitioner, we don't want to forget that. And then you always want that recovery and sleep. And I guess the last thing is I do try to stay hydrated. It's not my strongest suit, but I do try to stay hydrated, and I do that by keeping, and everybody in the office knows this, I'm a water bottle baby, and I have about 4 water bottles full of different yummy hydrating drinks at all times in the attempt that I will finish them all. But I'm really gonna try and focus on that this year. So I would like to know, leave a comment, let us know what you're doing. And if you're interested in going on this 30-day detox, this 30-day New Year, New You plan that I'm going on, let's do it again. We do not have to keep this just in January. We can go this to February. We can do it again in March. And just let me know if there's an interest in that, and I can kind of bundle some of this stuff and make sure you have some discount codes and make sure the tests are covered for each person, and then we can begin that. But I wouldn't go on that journey if there's no interest in it. But I'd like you to join me. I think growing healthier together, it makes us all stronger. So that's it. Have a good day. Have a good month. Let me know if you're interested, and let me know for sure in the comments below what you're doing, because I'm always interested and I'm always trying new things. So have a good day and have a healthy one. Stay safe.